I thought I'd share with you a very interesting parcel and letter that we received from a customer this morning. I was about to go and do the work, but as always, I realized that many of you YouTube viewers may find it useful to see what I'm about to do. Now, we get all sorts of requests and letters, and this was a letter that accompanied a parcel, and this parcel contained a tree that has been badly neglected, and so badly neglected it's almost dying. But luckily, it's not entirely dead. There's a few green shoots in there, so it is just about alive. So I know that I can bring it back to health. And very briefly, I won't show you the person who sent the letter to me. And this is a Chinese privet, and this is what the tree looked like, and this is what it looks like now. The story behind it, it says, as discussed, this poor bonsai plant needs some help. It belongs to a friend of mine who currently stranded over in Australia due to COVID and entrusted to my care. And of course, see, last summer I was away for 2 weeks, and it was left south-facing window and the heat, and husband forgot to water the tree. And what do you expect? If you don't water it for 2 weeks, this is what happens. So this poor tree didn't get watered for 2 weeks in a hot south-facing window, and it's almost dead. I won't tell you who the writer is, but because it has sentimental value, this lady is desperate to get me to revive the tree. By the way, Chinese privet may look nice when you buy it, but it's a very, very difficult subject. It is so difficult that we refuse to stock this variety. The ordinary English privet is extremely good, and it is used a lot as outdoor bonsai, but Chinese privet, when grown indoors, for some reason don't do well. The Chinese privet and Carmona are notoriously difficult, but that's not the point. I can still revive the tree. So let me show you what I would do to revive this tree. Now, I'm in the office here, and because we are in the office, I can't make too much of a mess. So I will take you into the back greenhouse, which is our workshop, and I will show you what I'm about to do. So here is the tree in our workshop, and what I'm about to do is to remove some of the soil, and then I will do the famous Peter Chan moss trick. So let's take it out of the pot. And with most of these commercial trees, they're not tied in. That's not a problem. And they use a very open, soft, peat-like, I think this is cocoa peat probably, type soil. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to remove some of the soil, not all of it, some of it. The roots are still quite turgid, as you can see. So the roots are not in bad condition. So that's the amount of soil I remove. And I then put it not back in the bonsai pot. You can, but I prefer not to. I just put it in a much larger, you can put it in a larger bonsai pot, or what I prefer best is an ordinary flower pot, because there's a lot of room and space. And the medium I use is, this is called sphagnum moss. Those of you who have seen my videos will have heard me talk about sphagnum moss. And this is how it's spelled, sphagnum moss. And this is what it looks like. We sell it, but you can also buy it from garden centers or from florists. The florists use it for making wreaths and various things, and it is available. It's not that it's not available. What you mustn't confuse this with is the moss that grows on paving. Let me just show you what that ordinary moss is that we use as a surface dressing. And the one that we use for surface dressing is this. This is not the same as sphagnum moss. You can try and use it if it is very fluffy and soft, but sphagnum moss is long, strandy sort of moss. See, this moss that grows on the surface of the pot, that is not what we call sphagnum moss. So sphagnum moss is a completely different thing. And that I've found over very many years of experimentation. I've been experimenting with sphagnum moss for more than 30 years, and I absolutely swear by it. And I buy the best quality moss. This moss that I have in the bag here comes all the way from New Zealand. For some reason, they have some lovely moss, and because it's exported to the UK, I don't mind using it. So I fill the pot up with sphagnum moss, and then I just put the tree in there, and then I top it up. And because the moss is quite damp, you can add a little more water to it, and that's all you do. And I will now take it into my conservatory, because I have a conservatory where the temperature is like 5 degrees, 3 to 5 degrees. Sometimes it gets to about 10 degrees, and that is the perfect environment for growing and reviving this tree. So I will put it in there, and I would say that definitely within 2 or 3 months it will be right as rain. I will show this tree again when it revives, but meanwhile I thought I would just broadcast this video because it's a very, very common problem that people who are not familiar with bonsai come across. So if you forget to, water your tree and it's half dead, this is the best way to revive it. I'm not saying it's the only way. You can try and put it in very fluffy type of ordinary soft bedding compost, cocoa peat. Let me just show you. This is our ordinary compost. You can use something like that, which is very soft. That might work, but I find that the sphagnum moss is a surefire, always works, never fails to work. So I hope this little video will help you to encounter all these difficult sort of problems. Typical problem is forgetting to water the tree, and I can just show you this tree will live again. Where there are little dead twigs, they are dead, you can remove it, but there's no need to. Where the new shoots will grow, they will grow in any case. When the new shoots grow, then we can decide on what to remove and what to keep. So there you go.